Yes, everybody, we are back live in the building, and this is fantastic news to bring you on this Monday. This Monday, that's also a match day. Some of us are forgetting that we are playing Brighton tonight. Don't forget, it will be hungover Reds FC, but still, Liverpool have a game on tonight. Definitely we'll be doing a watch along for that. But anyways, guys, the big news right now to start off our Monday, we got the Frimpong. Here we go this weekend. And now it looks like our next position that we're going to seal the deal for before the season has even ended, it seems like, is Milos Kerkez, the Hungarian left back from Bournemouth. He's very pacey, just like Jeremy Frimpong. And guys, let me know how you're feeling in the building about this potential next signing. As you can see, I mean, obviously we're gonna have two. This is what our back four could look like next season. Obviously, we're gonna have two options at left back and right back. Obviously, at right back we'll have Frimpong and Connor Bradley, and it seems like at left back, if we get the KERKEZ deal done, I think probably Robbo will stay and Kostas will leave this summer. That's my personal prediction. Obviously, one of our two senior left backs will leave this summer. I saw some of you guys in the building asking if what the fee would be for KERKEZ. The prices I'm seeing mentioned, he would cost a lot more than Frimpong just because KERKEZ doesn't have a release clause, and there are a lot of top clubs interested. It seems like, guys, he would cost around 45 million pounds. So he would be, you if you subtract that from the 45 million pound fee, we will probably get KERKEZ for about a 30 million pound fee, again, from selling a player in that position, if that makes sense. You know? Um, but yeah, what's good? Lamine Yamal says, I'm so happy right now that we got Frimpong and we're about to get KERKEZ. Yes. Raul will stay, hopefully. Is Frimpong doing his medical today? Yes, Chris. Frimpong is doing his medical today. So that is another one to look out for. I think the second part of his, um, it's in two parts, I believe. The medical. And he's doing his second part today. The backline isn't conceding any more than 25 goals next season, says Zach. 45 million wouldn't be too bad, that's for sure. That's for sure. I mean, it is a lot of money for a fullback, but he is one of the highest rated fullbacks in world football. Real Madrid are reportedly interested, so we got to seal the deal as soon as possible. Red says, I'm sick, not at school. Oh, feel better, bro. Azan is in the building as well, bro. I'm doing well. What a way to start a freaking Monday. I want that energy in the building, you guys. I want that freaking energy in the building. Are you going to the parade? Yes, Leighton. I'm flying. I'm coming to the UK on Friday. So I cannot wait for this weekend as well. Manu says, Yo, Leo, I'm so happy about the KERKEZ signing, but I'm at school, so I can't join the live. Sorry, Leo. No worries. Have a good day at school, Manus. 30 million to buy KERKEZ, please. Tobias, like I said, the fee is set to be around 45 million pounds from all the quotes I'm hearing. That's the type of price you have to sign for one of the highest rated young left backs. Remember, he's just 21 years old, so he has 6, 7, 8, 9 years at the highest level. He's proven that he's one of the best left backs in the Premier League. And bro, when you look at that team, I'm just so hyped because one of the things I do think we've been missing this season, you guys, one of the main things we've been missing is pace. And Milos Kerkez and Frimpong most definitely will bring some. That there's no doubt about. He's proven that he's one of the best. Kostas plus cash for KERKEZ. I'm not so sure. Swap deals rarely happen in football, so I don't think that's gonna happen, Ron. But I think we'll sell Kostas separately, like I said, for between 15 to 20 million pounds, which would mean that, when you subtract that, I think KERKEZ will end up costing, net in that left back position around 30 million, which I think is fantastic business for us yet again. Goofball says, Yo, Leo, it's 3 a.m. and I'm watching live with the true Scouser energy. Come on, your Reds. Goofball, where are you based? Big up, bro. Any news on Verts? Bobby, the latest news on Florian Verts is that he apparently hasn't made up his mind yet. So the initial reports that were saying he's leaning towards Bayern Munich apparently are not true. And that we are very much in this race, you guys. Very much, apparently, we are in this race. And we're not giving up on this Florian Verts signing. And even though he would cost a lot of money, right? He would be 100 million plus type signing. Apparently, we rate him so highly, you guys, that we'd be willing to fork out that kind of fee because, we've talked about before how we're kind of opportunistic. I think the reason we haven't spent that much in the last few seasons is we were willing to spend on our number one target, right? Zubamendi. But other than that, we wanted to find options and wait for top targets that we know would come in and immediately have impact. And now just look at this fullback pair, guys. You talk about impact. I feel like I'm watching some FIFA career mode right now with Frimpong at right back and KERKEZ at left back, but we freaking take it. The fact that he'll also have options, like I said, because there's also Connor Bradley, obviously at right back. There'll be Robbo probably also at left back. It gives slot options. And bro, like next season, I'm already absolutely buzzing, even though we can't get too ahead of ourselves because we still got a match tonight. Let's not forget, we play Brighton tonight, and then this weekend, obviously, Palace. Last game of the season with the trophy lift and everything. Do you think we'll get a striker? Dean, 1,000% will get 1,000% will get a striker, and it looks like Isaac is out of the question just because Newcastle don't want to sell. They're getting Champions League football and everything. So yeah, I think we're gonna be looking at different options. We're gonna be selling Darwin this summer, so look out too for. I think that deal is definitely gonna take more time to get done than the Frimpong Kerkez ones that clearly you're seeing we're moving very quickly on. Yes, the striker position is going to take longer, but that's just because of how competitive that market is this summer. Like we were saying, Arsenal are looking for a striker, Chelsea are looking for a striker, lots of teams are looking for forwards. So it's going to be a real competitive, it's going to be real competitive in that aspect, but it's going to be an exciting summer, that's for sure. Because just look at the intent that we're showing already, spending big in those fullback positions. That we're gonna be set for many years to come. Because Frimpong is only 24 and Kerkez is 21. So we're talking about them being here for maybe 6, 7, 8 years unless we sell them on. But I think one of the reasons these deals are great is if we do end up selling them on, I think we could sell them on for profit as well if that ever happens. Like they're just no-brainer deals in some ways. Alex, big up to you who's been a channel support member for 5 months. Big up, bro. W transfer director. Yeah, I mean, Michael Edwards is at the helm of it all. He's now the kind of the CEO of football apparently. But Richard Hughes is the one, the main, from what I've seen, he's the main sporting director who will be in direct negotiations, especially on this Milos Kerkez deal because he was at Bournemouth. Don't forget, he was at Bournemouth before. So I think having that kind of connection will definitely help in getting this deal over the line. Fabrizio Romano said that Kerkez is keen on joining Liverpool, and he'll have his fellow teammate and his friend in Dominic Soboslai, obviously. So that's gonna help him settle at the club. So yeah, I think this is one of them signings where from match day one he would be in the starting 11 already. Genuinely, he would be in the starting 11 from match week one. Ian Robin says 3 left backs. Who's getting out? Ian Robin, my personal prediction is Robbo will sign an extension because he's a leader. He has that experience. He can be a mentor to Kerkez, who's still young. And I think we sell Costas just because we could probably get a bigger fee for him, So that's my personal prediction. We give Robbo a short-term extension and then we sell Costas to this summer for a fee of around 15 to 20 million is my guess as to what will happen. But again, it all depends. Maybe, Saudi come in with a big bid for Robbo and we accept it. So there's some things that you can't quite predict, obviously. You don't know what's going to happen. And it all depends on, what teams bid however much. But my personal prediction is it's more likely that we sell Costas and we keep Robbo. Bro, lover, what's up? Nice to see you in the building. Mr. Unknown says we should still renew the contract of Robbo. That's exactly what I was saying. Yep. Robbo and Ibu Konate, absolutely crucial because both Andy Robertson and Ibrahima Konate's contracts expire, guys. Don't forget, they expire in the summer of 2026. So they only have 1 year left on their deals. We got to get those sorted as well. Flay says this back four looks promising, no doubt, but Maka and Ryan are going to have a lot of covering work to do. Absolutely, there's no doubt about it. But bro, if we're back to the vibes of 2013-14, remember when we were just scoring tons of goals and then conceding a few? That season was one of the funnest to watch. So honestly, if we're just like scoring tons of goals and not conceding too many, I'm not against it because this just seems so attacking. But again, we were mentioning it before. Flay, we're gonna have multiple options in those positions, which I think is the dream of Slot because it allows him that kind of versatility in his tactics. Depending on who he's playing against, he can set up in different ways. Like I said, if we play Real Madrid in the Champions League, I think probably there's a good chance it's Connor Bradley that starts, because he's proven it. He's proven it this season that he can lock up against any winger in world football. So it really depends, I think, on who we're up against. But that's brilliant because that just shows that we're going to be an incredibly difficult team to face. Depending on what Slot wants to do, he'll have those weapons available to him. I mean, this was a quote. Love from Alberta Calgary from Canada, bro. I absolutely love Canada, and all the Canadians I've met around the world have been some of the nicest people. So shout out to all the Canadian Scousers in the building. But yeah, I wanted to share this quote with you guys that was released yesterday from Arne Slot, who said, "Quote: I think we can find one or two extra weapons that this team doesn't have. Maybe by using the transfer market. This is what we're trying to achieve. That will only make us stronger. That's what we need because we saw Man City spending 200 million in the winter transfer window. All of them will. Apart from the transfer window, we can also improve certain aspects of ourselves." Like, just look at the way he's speaking about it. Look at the way Arne Slot is speaking about this offseason, and like, guys, I love how like brutal Slot is with it. He just seems like a serial winner in the same way Pep Guardiola is. He seems so obsessed. And I can see him putting pressure on our owners this summer, saying, just based off his personality, my guess is behind the scenes, he's speaking to the likes of Michael Edwards and he's saying, listen, we've already won the Premier League this season. It's my first season in charge. If we just strengthen in these 3, 4, 5 areas, we can go on and go for the whole lot. And that just gets me so excited. Guys, that gets me so freaking excited. Big up Go12, who's been a community support member for 17 freaking months. That's crazy. Who says, sorry, chat, can't be in here at college right now. No worries, Go12. Thanks for popping in the building and showing that support. I appreciate you. Goofball, have a good sleep. You'll be able to dream about the pace that we'll have out wide next season. It's going to be unbelievable. Victor says, good one. That's a lot of pace on the wings. What striker do you think we go for, you think? Victor, my dream is Julian Alvarez. I'm actually going to make a video for you guys today showing his goal that he scored for Atletico yesterday. Bro, he is a baller. I would go all in for Julian Alvarez. If it means selling Darwin and Federico Chiesa to get enough money to sign Julian Alvarez and go big in that position, I would go all out. Seriously. Because Isaac is out of the question, for me, I would go all out to sign an elite striker like that and pay 30 to 40 million more than you would pay to sign a Benjamin Sesko or Hugo Ekitike from Frankfurt. For me, I'd rather go all out in that position. He's still young. He knows the Premier League and make him a focal point in the team because, bro, for me, he'd be guaranteed success. I know some people are like, oh, he wasn't that good for City and stuff, but bro, he wasn't starting week in, week out. And when you talk about pure ability, Julian Alvarez has it all. So for me, Victor, that's what I would say. But if he's unobtainable, I could see us going for a Florian Wirtz and potentially playing him in the false nine. So that's one obviously to look out for. Sparky says, loving the way we'll look if we get these two signings over the line. Me too. Liverpool is doing everything as soon as possible, so that they can be there from the very start of preseason. That's the dream. That's the dream scenario for us. And shout out to our team. I backed our you guys have heard me. I haven't been against what we've done because I fully back us. The way we recruited over the years has been second to none. Why would Alvarez leave Atletico Madrid though? Because they're not winning any trophies, and at Liverpool, like, imagine how exciting the project is. So and if we're offering big money and wage increase towards Atletico Madrid, maybe they'd be willing to accept, and maybe we can offer Darwin the other way. I don't know, something like that. But all I know is we have to try to make a big push for him because I think he's the standout in the market. He's the standout, and he just looks to me like a proper Liverpool player. Joel says, hello, bro, from India, but currently in Germany. Ooh, where are you in Germany right now? Alvarez or Wirtz, which one do we want? Apart from these two signings, we need a blockbuster one too. I mean, that would be top of the top, either one of those two. If I had to choose between Alvarez or Wirtz, I would choose Alvarez because, like I said, he's guaranteed goals. He's guaranteed goals, but more than that, he also gets assists. He's an absolute menace. So if I had to choose between those two, because both of them would probably cost around the same, I would go for Julian Alvarez. But bro, trust me, if as of right now, it does look more likely. Not that it looks like the Florian Wirtz deal will still be very difficult. I think as of right now, there's more of a chance we sign Wirtz than Alvarez, just because Fabrizio Romano hasn't really reported on any links with Alvarez, and neither has David Ornstein. Whereas both have said that we are in the race to sign Wirtz, so it's one to look out for. Yo, Jake Kelly's in the building. It's 10 a.m. here in Liverpool, and he scored a hat trick. Big up, shout out to you, Jake Kelly, you absolute ledge. What about Osimhen? I don't think he's a Liverpool type striker, and I don't think we'd sign a striker that's going to be going to AFCON, because remember, AFCON this year is going to be played during the festive period. It's about around mid-December to early February, depending on how far the teams go. But bro, the goals that we would need when Mohamed Salah is off to AFCON, obviously with Egypt, I think means we're not going to go for a player that plays in the same competition, because that would just be too risky. So my personal prediction is we don't go for someone like Osimhen, because for a large part because of that reason. Nixie, I couldn't tell you, but all I know is I think more and more in football, we're seeing that you don't need an out and out striker. We were just talking about, I think this is the perfect example that there isn't one way to play kind of how there used to be. Look at the Champions League final, guys. Look at the Champions League final this season. You have an Inter Milan that play with two strikers in Lautaro Martinez and Thuram, and then you have PSG who play with just wingers in the three forward position. So I don't think anymore there's this thing of like, who's your out and out number nine? I think it's a lot more complex than that. And Slot is definitely one of those managers that's going to have many ideas going through his head, and he's not going to be afraid to experiment. So for me, there's nothing that can be kind of out of the question. Look, this season, many of us were saying, "Oh, Slot likes to play more defensive with his fullbacks." Look at the signings we're making in those positions. Literally, Frimpong at right back, KERKEZ at left back. It just shows, guys. It just shows that we don't really know what Slot has up his sleeve, and for me, that's very, very exciting because it just shows we're going to be an unpredictable team to face next season. And I think this first season under Slot is just part one, and we're only going to see an evolution from here. I can't really predict how we're going to play when you look at that back four right there. You know what I mean? Like, all I know is it's very, very exciting because it's attacking, and who doesn't love to watch attacking football, especially at Anfield on European nights as well. Patrick, nice to see you in the building, who says, great signing so far. By the way, TikTok has restricted my messages on the Clips account. I'm trying to... Why have they done that, Patrick? That's very strange. Do you know why they've done that? Sujal says Atletico Madrid bought him for 95 million, so anything less than 120 will be rejected. I agree. I completely agree. But like I said, for me, I would much rather spend 120, 130 million on an Alvarez than spending 90 million on our Hugo Ekitike or reportedly 100 million on Benjamin Sesko. So, you know what I mean? I'm not that's for me a no-brainer if we can put out that kind of money, and if that means selling in other positions, I would agree with it. Little Timmy, nice to see you in the building. Who says thoughts on Jonathan David? I'm surprised we're not even considering him, and I think he's much better than Delap or Ekitike. On Jonathan David, I think the issue there, Doms, I was speaking about it before. I think one of the reasons why we might not be in the race is I think him and his agent are looking for a club where he'd start week in, week out. Think about it. He was already playing at Lille, who are a team that were doing very well in the Champions League. I think for his next step up, he's 25, I believe, he's going to want to go to a team where in the contract, he's guaranteed to be a starter in the team, and the vision is for him to be a focal point for a team. And many teams will be able to offer that this season, whereas I don't think we can go to him and say, listen, Jonathan David, you're going to be a key player for us. You're going to be the starting number 9. We're going to offer you 200,000+ a week. I'm not so sure we're willing to do that. And I think that's probably why we're not in the race. If him and his agent, Doms, were out in the market this summer and saying, listen, we're happy for him to be a squad player, just offer us good wages and a good signing bonus, I think we'd probably be in the race. But my personal prediction is, like I said, he was this key player for Lille, who are already a Champions League team. And now he'll want to make that step up. And I don't think for him, he'd be willing to just be a squad bench player for Liverpool Football Club, which I think is the only thing we could offer him. That's my personal thoughts on Jonathan David. Because like I said, on paper, I agree with you. Him on a free, it seems like a no-brainer, but it is more complicated than that. Sujal says Konate might leave on a free, most likely. I hope not, bro. We got to do everything we can to get him to extend. He seems to love Liverpool. And now Real Madrid don't look like they're going to be in for him because obviously they're going to sign Dean Huijsen. So the only one I'm a little bit worried about, only one for me is PSG pushing hard for him. That's my only concern, because he, PSG obviously is looking like a very promising team to join in this moment in time, and they can probably offer him major wages and to be like a focal point in that defense. So the only thing that worries me for Ibu Konate is PSG pushing hard for him, and that's another reason why I think we should be going all out right now to getting Ibu Konate to extend. For me, that's an absolute no-brainer. And if you're saying we have to get closer to the two, initially I said offer him 150,000, right? Initially I said offer him 150,000 pounds a week, and hopefully he'll agree to that. And now more and more I'm thinking, you know what, we gotta go with the demands that he wants, which is apparently 200,000 pounds a week. The reason I say that is because if you go out and try to replace him in the market, guys, it's going to be very, very difficult to replace a player like that in the market because, like, again, let's look at the options, guys. If Ibu Konate is set to leave this summer, let me know in the chat right now, what other player do you think could come in that position and be on the level of Ibu Konate from next season on, right? We can't sign some young left back. Like, for example, Jorel Hato. I'm all for us signing Jorel Hato. Trust me, guys. But is he going to come into the team and right away perform on the level of Ibu Konate? Of course not. The guy's like 18, 19. He doesn't have Premier League experience or anything like that, So let me know center backs that you think we could sign that would be on Ibu Konate's level. I'm curious to see if you guys have legitimate names out there. Dean, thank you for the super chat, who says, do you think we'll get KERKEZ this weekend? I mean, Frimpong and KERKEZ, guys, won't be able to play for us till next season, right? Because the window hasn't opened. But I think you're probably asking, are we going to get it done by this weekend? I think it's possible. With the way we're moving right now, bro, like we're acting like a serious club. So I think there's a chance we get it done by this weekend, you guys. I wouldn't be surprised because we'll know that there's lots of other clubs interested. Apparently, Real Madrid have interest. So we know we have to move quickly on this one, you guys. And my guess is that we're not waiting. We're like, again, like the Frimpong deal, the reason I'm very confident of this one is the player is keen to join. We'll have known about the price tag Bournemouth have been asking for a while, right? Because they've been saying we want 40 to 50 million pounds, between 40 to 45 million pounds. That's been reported for months now. So we're aware of the fee it would take. He wants to join. He's young, so I don't think wages would be too much an issue. I don't see anything that could really get in the way unless a Real Madrid hijack the deal. And again, that's why I think we will move very quickly on this one, Dean. That's, again, my personal prediction. So here we go. Some of the names you guys are mentioning. Again, Bastoni, no chance, bro. Inter, no chance they would sell. I don't think he wants to leave Italy. So Bastoni, out of the question. Lukeba from RB Leipzig, bro, that he would cost 50 million plus. Upamecano would cost 50 million plus. Some of the names you guys are mentioning would cost big money. And again, they're not going to be guaranteed success in the way Ibu Konate is already Premier League proven. He's already proven to be a great kind of center back partner with Virgil van Dijk. And this is what I mean. Are we willing to sell Ibu this summer for a cut fee because he only has 1 year left and then sign someone who would cost more money? Or are we willing to just give Ibu Konate the money that he's asking for? Me personally, I'm more on the train of giving Ibu the money that he wants because, like I said, we know he can perform for Liverpool. We know, especially if we have attacking fullbacks, having a player like Ibu Konate with his pace as a channel defender, it's absolutely crucial having a player like him. And like I said, he's proven to be a great fit alongside Virgil van Dijk. So some of the names you guys are mentioning here, Inacio, again, only proven really in the Portuguese league. Murillo just picked up a very serious injury, so we won't be looking at him anymore. So, a lot of these options that you guys are saying would cost 50 million pounds plus this summer, which again, if we gave Ibu Konate the money that he would want, you guys, trust me, it would end up being less money than if we sold him for a cut fee this summer because we would have to instead of losing him on a free and bringing in someone who wouldn't be guaranteed success. And that's why my personal opinion is we have to give Ibu Konate the money that he deserves. That's my personal opinion. But let me know, guys, do you agree or do you disagree with that? Because I see a lot of you guys mentioning some of the names here, and for me, they're not on the level of Ibu Konate right now. And we need players like a KERKEZ, like a Frimpong, who come into the team and right away improve us. Why? Because we have 2 years left of Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah. So we have to sign players who are going to come into the team and have immediate success, because we have to take advantage of these world-class players who don't have many years left. And yeah, that's for sure. You know, Elena says, Leo, it's 6 a.m. here in Brazil and I had school. Only thing that hypes me up is KERKEZ almost done and you're alive. Yes, Elena, I hope you have a beautiful day at school and that it's only positive vibes, because tonight we have a Liverpool game. We're going to be back live tonight for the Brighton game. And then on Sunday, we're going to have the trophy lift. Obviously, and it's just going to be party vibes against Palace because they've obviously also just won the FA Cup. And then on next Monday is the parade. So guys, it's going to be only good vibes this week, and even more good vibes if we get these 2 deals sealed. I mean, the here we go has already come from Frimpong, so that's a done deal. He's passing the second part of his medical today, and then hopefully we get the KERKEZ deal done and sealed this week too. Come on. Dean says, I hope Diaz stays, because Liverpool is looking so exciting for next season. I agree. Bro, imagine you have KERKEZ and Lucho on that left-hand side. Bro, we are going to be a menace for other teams. Absolute menace for other teams. C Prince says, hey, it's me. Very happy to see the KERKEZ deal advanced. Yes, bro. I'm absolutely buzzing as well. Shabi, thank you very much for the super chat, who says, Verts as false 9, Wharton as a CDM. Bro, don't get me too excited. Bro, if that happens and we get Frimpong and KERKEZ over the line, I'm not going to be able to sleep this summer. Shabit, I'm not going to be able to sleep this summer. Verts as a false 9 and Adam Wharton as a defensive mid. Bro, it's done. We're winning the whole lot next season if that happens. We're winning the whole lot. And again, I don't think, as crazy as this sounds, I don't think it's out of the question. Why? Because there's lots of places where we're going to be able to raise funds this summer. A, Trent's wages are out of the window. B, all the players we're going to sign this summer. Kelleher will probably get us a fee of around 30 million. We're going to be selling Tyler Morin, who probably will get us a fee of 10 million. Darwin will get us a big fee, 60 million plus. And then Chiesa could get us a really good fee this summer too. And then Costas also will probably leave this summer. So Shabit, like, I'm absolutely buzzing just hearing you mention those 2 options coming in, and all of those players would be signing, by the way, would be very young and can only improve from the ceiling that they're already on, which I think is players that are good enough to start for the slot team that are Premier League champions. So that's saying a lot about the ability of these players, who again, very young and will only improve under Slot, who's a top coach. So yeah, Shabit, you mentioning that, I'm getting a little bit too excited, and I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep this summer. I don't think I'm going to be able to sleep this summer, bro. I'm going to be too excited. I'm going to be too excited, bro. When will we be able to use Frimpong from next season on? We definitely can't use Frimpong for this week. Even though the here we go is coming, even though the announcement will probably be today or tomorrow, you know, because he's passing his medical today. And he's in Liverpool right now, so he'll be filming, you know, all the media stuff for the official announcement. He's not registered in the squad, you guys, so he's not going to be available to play tonight or on Sunday. It's only going to be from next season on. But that's good, because it means he'll have a full preseason. We won't have to rush him into the team, and that's just absolutely brilliant, you know? What about another center back, Sebas? I think Jorel Hato would be a brilliant option, because he's a versatile defender as well. Is Kelleher going to leave on a free? Absolutely not, Devendra. The fee, like I said, for Kelleher, I think will be around £30 million, and it seems like Leeds are interested. They've just gotten promoted, so they'll have lots of money from the promotion. So hopefully we can sell Kelleher for big money. Like I said, my prediction is 25 to 30 million pounds, which again is fantastic because it's money that we can reinvest into the squad. And yeah, I'm too excited, you guys. I'm going to need to calm down. Like, it's a freaking Monday, and I feel like it's Christmas Eve, and I feel like I'm a little kid when it comes to Liverpool transfer windows and them being serious like they are right now. I feel like a kid at Christmas, just like that summer transfer window when we went through the whole midfield rebuild. Remember when we signed Suboslai, we signed Maka, we signed Gravenberg, and we signed Wataru Endo. That was all in the same summer. I remember that summer too. I felt like a kid at Christmas. I don't feel like I'm an adult in these moments. I'm a dreamer and I'm a believer that we can win the whole lot. And I think that's what being a football fan is all about. You know what I mean? What about Joao Pedro? I don't think he's available for 30 million. Leo, where did you see that? I don't think he's available for that amount of money. No chance. I can't believe this is my club. Oh my gosh. I know, LFC Jaden. We deserve a transfer window like this. We properly deserve it. What about Kudus? He can replace Mo Salah. I think the Kudus fee would be too much. The reports are saying West Ham would ask between 70 to 80 million for Mohamed Kudus. And as good as he is, I mean, think about when West Ham came to play at Anfield, we just narrowly beat them, right? 2-1. I thought Mohamed Kudus was almost unplayable that day. He's a fantastic talent. We were already interested in him, by the way, when he was playing at Ajax. But why do I not think that one will happen? I think the fee is too big. I think the only place where we spend that much would be on a striker, like I said before, because strikers are so rare to come by in this market. So I think we could fork out a crazy fee. But for Mohamed Kudus, I don't think we would spend 80 to 90 million, especially given that Mohamed Salah is still here for another 2 years. So I'm not sure he'd start right away. So no, I don't see that one happening. Fayez says, it's been a while since we had a lot of movement this fast. I know, bro. I know. Will Frimpong be in the stands? I think so. Hopefully even tonight, bro. Imagine even tonight he'd already be in the stands. That would be brilliant. Dynamics is we at least need a good CDM this window. Bro, like we were mentioning before, my dream would be Adam Wharton from Crystal Palace. But a lot of clubs are interested in him apparently. A lot of clubs are interested. How would you feel if Liverpool got De Bruyne a year contract? I don't see that one happening. I just made a new account for DMs called Okay, I got you. Patrick, I'll check that after, okay? I'll check that after. I just need Julian Alvarez signing and I'm done for. Me too. Bro, if we just sign Julian Alvarez and KERKEZ and Frimpong, for me I'd be over the moon. I know there's other positions we need to get done, but bro, I would be absolutely over the moon with that. I just came back from school. It's 3 p.m. in India. I just checked my phone, saw the KERKEZ news, and jumped onto your stream. Yes, bro. What's the painting behind you? It's the Mona Lisa. No, it's actually my cousin's grandmother. She's She was a painter. Now she's 87 years old, and I'm in the countryside right now visiting her, and she painted this. I should ask her more about the details of this painting, but she was a painter and she was an antique dealer all her life. Obviously now she's retired, she's 87, but she painted this. So, yeah. Yes, I did, Elena. Adam Wharton is off to City, no chance for us. Oh god. Oh no, I don't like to hear that. What about Endrick? Nah. She didn't go to New Zealand actually. She didn't end up going to New Zealand. Clayland says, I lived in Hungary and the talents there are crazy. I feel like we need a scout there. I know, right? We should just set up a permanent scout now for the future so we don't have to pay crazy fees like what we'll have to pay for KERKEZ, which is reportedly 40 to 45 million pounds. That's a big fee to be paying for a fullback, but clearly we rate him that highly, so I'm all for it. Farhan, nice to see you in the building. Who says to be honest, right now, who wouldn't be wanting a move to Liverpool? We're Premier League winners. A big signing won't even surprise me. Farhan, my dream is if we're talking about our big marquee signing of the summer, and I do think this summer we'll have one big marquee signing, bro. My dream is Florian Wirtz or Julian Alvarez. If we get one of those two guys, bro, that would be crazy. That would be absolutely crazy. Andras says, I'm Hungarian, I'm buzzing for KERKEZ and Sobasai. Andras, can you tell me from the Hungarian point of view, surely all Hungarian football fans now will be supporting Liverpool, right? Now that we're becoming Dutch FC and Hungary FC, because we'll obviously have Dominic Sobasai and KERKEZ who are kind of the stars of Hungary. Do you think most of Hungary is just going to be watching all the Liverpool games now? I bet that's going to be the case, right? Do you know that Slot said Chiesa could stay next season? Yes, I think he said that kind of like that, but I think he'll probably leave if a good bid comes in this summer. I think he will leave. If a big bid comes in, no, a fair bid. I don't think a big bid would be coming in for him. If a fair bid of around 20 million comes from, let's say, a Napoli this summer, I think we accept it. I think we do, so that we can make profit, move on, and reinvest that in the market. Yeah, bro, I'm telling you, the Florian Wirtz deal could really happen. Shout out to you, Maz in the building. What's good? Since when is this happening? Gavin, since this morning was the report from Fabrizio Romano. Yeah, man. Why do you rate Alvarez so highly? I feel like he wouldn't fit us, bro, Stevie. The reason I rate him so highly is every time I watch him, he has a bit of everything. He has the stamina, he has the pressing, which you need in the Premier League. He's built physically, like in a very solid way. He rarely gets injured. And then you talk about pure ability in the final third. He's a goal scorer, but he's also a creator. He got an assist and 2 goals just yesterday in La Liga. He's had an incredible season. He already has the chemistry with Maka. He knows what it's like to play in the Premier League. There's so many aspects of Julian Alvarez. Well, for me, it's a no risk signing, and that's why he would cost bundles. He would cost a lot of money. Patrick says Fabrizio said that United are closing on Cunha now. That doesn't surprise me. But Patrick, given some of his issues off the pitch, where he's gotten in trouble, I don't think he's the type of signing we go for. I don't think he is. Do you think we get Alexander Isak? 0%. For me, he's 100% staying. For me, Alexander Isak is 100% staying at Newcastle. 100%. Could Frimpong and Kerkez replace Robbo and Trent? Yes, that's what we're going to be doing. Young, incredible talents for the future. That's exactly what we're doing right now. Center defensive mid position, who are you hoping to sign? I mean, me personally, I really want Bogdan and Kozma, our Liverpool legends. What about Xavi Simons? Xavi Simons is probably an option we're looking at too, but it seems like we rate Florian Wirtz higher, and that's why we're really pushing for him, and that's why we already had meetings with him and his agents, But do we need a CDM though? I think it's definitely not priority. Like I said, before CDM, well, already we got our fullbacks done, so it looks like Kerkez is going to be done, so we can stop thinking about right back, left back. I think after that, the two positions we push for are a striker and a center back. That's my personal opinion. I think center defensive mid would be third option if an opportunity in the market arises. Because otherwise, think about it. We have Gravenberg, Endo, and Stefan Bajcetic that will get a full preseason this summer. So I think after we hopefully get the Kerkez deal done, like we got the Frimpong one done quickly, I think, like I said, next positions we push hard for, striker and center back, is my personal opinion. Patrick says, yeah, I've seen all that stuff. I don't want Cunha at all. He can go to United. Yeah, definitely. He made 2 goals yesterday in Atletico Madrid's game. Yeah, bro. He's the one. For me, he's the one. Yo, Messi, what did you have for dinner? Why are you asking about Huijsen? He's done. Yeah, guys, Dean Huijsen is it's a done deal already. It's been officially announced by Real Madrid. He's going to be a Madrid player from this summer on. He could even be there for the Club World Cup. Why do you... Yeah, like I said, Stevie already mentioned why I rate him so highly. Why don't we buy Chris Wood? He's too old. I believe he's 33 years old. We're looking for more players under the age. 25 and under is my guess for the ages that we're looking for. Look, Frimpong is 24. I think Kerkez is 21, right? So we're looking for young players. Ugo Ekitike, good player, zany, but apparently Frankfurt are asking for 90 million euros, and that's a hefty fee. That's a really big fee to be kind of trying to pay for a player who, like I said, is still a risk. He's not Premier League proven. He hasn't had many top seasons. He's obviously been very good this season, but he is a bit of a risk. So I think paying 90 million euros for Ugo Ekitike, for me, I'm not for that. I'd rather, again, spend 120 on a Florian Wirtz. Seriously. Because again, for me, he's guaranteed success. He comes in and from match week 1, he's a difference maker for us. Whereas Ugo Ekitike, as much as I think he's an exciting prospect and he could be a success, I'm not so sure from week 1 we can kind of depend on him and that he would kind of deliver for us from week 1, if that makes sense, Robbo got that Scottish passion. Well, I can tell you Kerkez got that Hungarian passion. That's for sure. He's got that Hungarian passion. Flay says we 100% need a defensive mid. Ryan and Maka have been overplayed a lot this season. It's going to affect their long-term form and fitness. Endo obviously isn't being trusted enough. Well, Flay, we'll see. If, like you say, Endo ends up leaving this summer, then definitely I can see us signing a defensive mid. But the reports seem to be saying that Slot really likes Endo as a squad player. So I could see him sticking around and then us potentially giving Stefan Bajetic more of a chance. So I'm not so sure that defensive mid is a priority position. Like I said, I think striker and center back is what we go for next, is my personal prediction. FC FIFA says, Leo, I've watched Benjamin Sesko a lot in the Bundesliga, and believe me, he's on another level, and we should totally sign him. But he costs 100 million euros. That's apparently the fee they're asking for. Isn't that a lot? That's a lot of money. That seems like too much. Verts unfortunately going to Bayern. Daryl, the reports are saying he hasn't made up his mind yet, and that he's not leaning towards one or the other just yet. No, Liverpool edits. I can confirm Verts and Alvarez wouldn't happen. That's too crazy. We can't get too ahead of ourselves. But one of the two happening potentially. Gyökeres is a great choice too, but it seems like he's Arsenal bound, just like Zubamendi is Arsenal bound. That's what the reports seem to be saying. Sujal says, "How does United have money for Cunha but not to take the staff to the final?" That's they clearly they're prioritizing one over the other. It's not a good look, especially after PSG. The PSG owners announced that they'll send over 600 club staff um, to the Champions League final. I know LFC Jaden. That's why I'm so happy to see us acting differently in the market now after becoming Premier League champions. You know, Leo, I'm coming to France from India next week for a vacation. What are the best places to visit for a 7-day holiday? Have you not planned your trip yet, Sea Prince? Like where you'll be going? Just saw that the Ajax manager left. Did you see how badly Ajax bottled the league? I saw. I'd be leaving too if that happened. One of the worst that there's ever been in football, given the position they were in before. It's really, really bad. Yeah, they were 12 points. I saw that, Patrick. And on the final day, PSV ended up becoming Eredivisie champions. The manager also mentioned a magical number 10 and a number 9 as a weapon. I don't think he specifically said the positions, but he did say two weapons to come. He did say that. But maybe one of the positions is a Milos Kerkez because he's very attacking. Milos Kerkez is going to bring us a lot. If we end up signing him, he's going to end up bringing a lot going forward. You know, so obviously he is a defender, but trust me, he's going to be bringing us a whole lot. Do you think Harvey Elliott is staying? Mr. Edits, that's another one that could leave this summer. If we sign a Florian Wirtz, I think Harvey Elliott ends up leaving. Dean says, I'll be buzzing if Spurs win the final. Me too. And guys, we'll be live for that. For those of you that are free on Wednesday night, I'm going to be live. We'll be live together in the building for the Europa League final. I'm so excited for that one. And for the Spurs United final. Basically, both of their seasons totally depend on this single game. So it's going to be such an interesting one to watch. Who would you rather, Gyökeres, Alvarez, or Wirtz? For me, Ollie, if I had to choose one of the three, I would say Julian Alvarez. If I had to choose one of the three. And then I would say Wirtz and then Gyökeres. Bargain for Sesko, FC FIFA, I don't think bargain. Apparently, they're holding out for that 100 million fee because a lot of clubs are desperate for a striker this summer, so rightfully so. How much do you think we can get Jota? Devendra, I think we could get a fee of between 40 to 50 million for Diogo Jota. And again, he's another one that could leave this summer if there's a fee, like I said, that the club feels is fair for him. Let's say a Wolves bid that amount or Saudi, you never know. I think we would accept it. I really think we would. Calvin says Elliot will leave. He's not a slot player, unfortunately. I would be devastated if he left. I'm a big fan of Harvey Elliott. I think wherever he goes next, he could definitely be a success and go on to be to go up a few gears. That's how highly I rate him as a talent. But like you said, Slot just doesn't seem to rate him, and that's why I agree. I think there's a real possibility Harvey Elliott, if again a right bid came in this summer, which I think we'd be looking around 40 million. I think potentially we'd accept it just because of how little game time he's had under Anislau in his first season. So I don't see why he'd be getting so much more next season when Slot is going to be able to bring in his own players this summer. So Yeah, have to be honest. I'm worried about Harvey Elliott. Manu says, Leo, I now have an off period at school so I can watch your live. Let's go. Two, we are signing in one window and both are bargains. We'll get our business done early before the summer. Now just a striker and Hoyson. No, Manu's Hoyson is already done. He's officially been announced by Real Madrid. He's off to Madrid this summer. So Hoyson is out of the window. I think probably the center back option we look at is Jorel Hato from Ajax. I think that's the one because we're Dutch FC. And he's versatile as well, and he's an incredible talent for the future. So I could Sansa, I'm not so sure. I feel like he's already made up his mind on quite a few players, and I worry about the future of both Harvey Elliott and Jarell Quansah because they're obviously incredible young talents, but this season he had opportunities to play them more often and he didn't, which I think is very telling. Vida, thank you very much for the super chat. Yes, I am a Liverpool fan. I just found your channel. Welcome in the building, Vida. I appreciate the support. And yes, we are a Liverpool building here. Obviously, we often talk about other football related things. Like, for example, Vida, on Wednesday night, I'm going to be live again for the Europa League final. So we also will watch other games and be curious about what's happening in world football. But yes, I am a Liverpool fan. And tonight we'll be live as well for the Liverpool Brighton game. But yeah, I am a big Liverpool fan. I also run and started the Instagram Liverpool Goals. So I've been doing Liverpool content for 12 years, basically. So yeah, it's been a big part of my life. Patrick, Hato for me is now that Hoyson is out of the question, obviously, because he's officially joined Real Madrid. For me, I would go all out for Hato because I don't think the fee would be that crazy either. And imagine he can learn from Virgil van Dijk, a fellow Dutchman, as his mentor. Bro, that would be unbelievable. And like I said, because I think there's a chance potentially Jarell Quansah leaves this summer, I could see Jorel Hato being the replacement. I really can see that happening. If I had to kind of bet on it, that's what I would personally predict. Devendra says Spurs has beaten United all the times this season, bro. If Spurs beat United on Wednesday night, I'm gonna go crazy. The absolute seeds. So that will be such an exciting one to watch together as well. Yeah, Cage says Liverpool would never link themselves with Greenwood. It would taint the name of Liverpool. I definitely agree. I definitely don't see us going for Greenwood. Yeah, Patrick, I'm so excited for Brighton tonight as well. I'm so excited. Today there's gonna be double live. Garvey, nice to see you in the building. Who says yo stream? Yes, of course we had to jump on a quick stream because Milos Kerkez. It looks like we're advancing on it. Garvey, the latest news is we're now pushing. Now that Bournemouth can't get European football anymore, their season is pretty much over. We're waiting for that point to be respectful to Bournemouth, and now Richard Hughes is in contact with the club. One, to agree on a transfer on the actual fee with Bournemouth, and we're also advancing on personal terms, so the wages. But that, guys, should get done very quick just because KERKEZ is keen on the move. He's a young player, so I don't think he's going to be asking for ludicrous wages. So trust me, this one I think can move very quickly because, like I said, we'll be aware. We've been aware of the fee it would take to bring KERKEZ. It's been known for months that we've wanted him. So given the fact that we know the type of fee that it's going to cost, my prediction is around £45 million. I think what we're probably negotiating with Bournemouth right now is how can we pay that fee in installments? Can we try to agree with Bournemouth to, for example, pay £15 million this summer, pay them £15 million next summer, and £15 million the summer after, so we can kind of divvy out the installments and keep more money for other positions for that we want to sign this summer. So my personal prediction is that's what's going on live time right now. Richard Hughes maybe is even in Bournemouth. I don't know exactly, but he's definitely negotiating how can we kind of pay that £45 million fee in installments. And like I said, then obviously they're negotiating separately with the agent on the wages, but I don't think that's going to be an issue in any way, shape, or form. Because like I said, who wouldn't want to join the Premier League champions? Who wouldn't want to join their fellow Hungarian superstar in Soboslai? So he's going to be able to, adapt to the club and make himself, Soboslai will be able to make himself feel at home right away, which is just beautiful. Andrea says the Hungarian beast. Dean says, hi Leo, I work nights and I won't be able to watch as much as I would like to, but when I can, I will, my friend. Dean, thank you. And all the best for your night shifts. All the best. I used to have night shifts, so I know it's not easy, but It's nice to see you in the building, and thank you as always for the support, bro. Manu says, do you think we will sign Nkunku as he's currently linked with Liverpool? Nah, I think he's too injury prone. I don't see that one happening. And again, Chelsea probably will try to bargain for a big fee. For me, that's not the type of signing I see us going for. Definitely not. I'm not taking those links too seriously. Bournemouth is a place, yes, bro. Bournemouth is actually one of the cities in the UK I want to most visit because it's a beach town, and I just looked at images I remember, and one of the away days that I dream about in the Premier League, probably I would say the two away days because I've already done a few that I most want to go for Liverpool that are kind of on my bucket list is one Brighton because I heard Brighton is also a really nice city, like a city, a student city. The two I want to do is Liverpool away at Brighton and then Liverpool away at Bournemouth. Those are the two I really want to do. Agent Sobislai, yes indeed. How true? Sand. It's from Fabrizio Romano and he's extremely reliable. So yeah, this is not just some like Daily Mail report, like this is real reliable. Just Meme says fullback sorted. Now we need a center back, which is Hato, CDM striker, and a cam that can play anywhere in the attack, like Verts, Ryan Cherki, or Rodrigo, and we're all good. We're more than bro. Just Memes. If that happens, we're more than all good. Then we're gonna be like going for the whole lot if that happens, and it seems like this summer could be the case for that. Hydro, I was saying before, I don't think Victor Osimhen is going to happen because he would be leaving for AFCON at the same time as Mohamed Salah, and I don't think we would want our striker, which is going to be our other source of goals. We've seen this season how we really depend on Mohamed Salah for goals. That's why we're going to be bringing in a player this summer who's going to hopefully be a goal scorer. And for me, I don't think we're going to sign a goal scorer who's going to leave exactly at the same time as Mohamed Salah during a crucial part of the season to the festive period. I don't see that one happening personally. I really don't. 40-year-old Virgil says Brighton is class, proper young person vibe. Yeah, I heard it's like a university town. So yeah, I really, that's the other away day I kind of dream about doing. The best part of all these deals is somehow we're getting these guys in for relatively cheap. Yeah, well, Patrick, I would say KERKEZ for £45 million is not cheap for fullback. That is not cheap. But again, why is it not cheap? Because how many top left backs are really available in the market? Like I said, KERKEZ is that good already. He's that Premier League proven that from match week 1, he would 100% start for us. And that is the price you have to pay. You know what I mean? And for example, Anthony Robinson is another player who've been linked with this summer, the left back from Fulham. They're apparently asking for around that same money, except he's turning 28 this summer. So the fee makes sense given what other clubs are asking for their left backs, but I wouldn't say that one is cheap. I would say that's fair market value, and it is a lot for a fullback. But again, I think he's one of a kind fullback going forward, especially. He's just the pace he has and the menace he'll bring us. It's going to be unbelievable. Frimpong, on the other hand, I think is an absolute bargain signing. And the reason I say that is, we triggered obviously that release clause under £30 million, which can apparently be paid in installments as well, which is brilliant. But I think, let's say in 2 years' time, for some reason we want to sell him and go for a different right back, I definitely think we can sell him on for profit. So the Frimpong deal, for me, is a no-brainer in terms of if, let's say, for some reason we want to go for an alternative right back, then I think we sell him in the market and it's just a no-brainer that we get profit for him. So that one, on the other hand, for me is just an absolute bargain. But like I said, oh yeah, Patrick says, yeah, but in my opinion, KERKEZ could easily be 70 million in 2 years' time. You're getting me too excited. Martin says, what do you think will happen to Costas? I think there's a good chance he leaves. My personal prediction, someone was asking earlier what's going to happen in the left back position, because if KERKEZ comes in, obviously we'd have 3 senior left backs. I think there's a bigger chance we sell Costas for 15 to 20 million this summer, and we give Robbo a short-term extension. Why? Because Robbo is still a crucial leader within the dressing room. He could be a mentor for KERKEZ, and he still can perform at the highest level. We're seeing, obviously not to what he used to be, but as a squad backup player, Robbo will be brilliant. And again, he definitely brings you a lot off the pitch as well. He's such a character. So I think there's, not to say that Costas isn't, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying Robbo has more experience. So my personal prediction is, because Robbo's contract expires next summer, I think we give him probably a 1-year extension with the agreement that he's a squad player now, and KERKEZ is the starter, and then we sell, like I said, Costas on this summer for profit, is my personal prediction. Because I do think teams will be interested in Costas. You know, he's still a really good left back. He's Greece's starting left back, and he's shown that he can perform for Liverpool and he can step up on the biggest of occasions. Remember the the penalty he scored in the cup final. He's a player that's not afraid of the big stage, and that is worth money because there's obviously a lot of pressure with playing for Liverpool, and I think whenever he's been given the opportunity, he's taken it. Oh look, there's a fly. There's a huge fly that just passed by. I prefer Braithwaite. The problem, Sergio, is he plays for Everton, and if he's available for sale this summer, lots of clubs will be interested, and I don't think Everton would sell to us. That's why I'm not. Don't see that one happening. I gotta be honest. I gotta be honest. Patrick says, I'm so hyped. We're having a full rebuild and we're going to have an even better squad than this season. And this season we won the league. The sky is the limit for this team. I'm too excited. I'm telling you, I'm not going to be able to sleep this summer, Patrick. I'm going to be like a kid at Christmas. Guys, if you want good vibes, just any stream that I do this summer, come in the building because you best believe I'm just going to be smiling and absolutely buzzing. Um, Raj Kumar says our new signing will be easily communicated with our players. This is one of a massive news because their nationality teammates are here at Liverpool. Yeah, you're talking about KERKEZ and Soboslai. Completely agree. Don't forget about young Rio Enma. Hopefully he'll break through next season. Very exciting prospect. Yeah, B Mac. I haven't forgotten about him. I have not forgotten about him. Is this news confirmed by Ornstein or Joyce? Not yet. I don't think. Let me double check. I don't think. But I think I'm gonna post it right now onto Liverpool Goals. There's got my A levels right now. Drop by to say hi and super excited for Frimpong and KERKEZ duo. Yes. What number will KERKEZ wear? I'm not sure actually about KERKEZ, but Frimpong definitely I think number 30. That's what the reports are saying. That's what the reports are saying. Yeah. All right. Um. But yeah, guys. Unfortunately, it is now almost time for me. I'm taking the train right now back